Do you know Andrew? Good. Thank you. That's fine. That's perfect. He is the most. He spits some real facts, but I just feel like he's been hurt by ladies so badly. It's like he speaks a lot of shit at the same time. It's like he's a kind of guy. He's like the Nazi of the men revolution, where he's a kind of guy that's like advocating for like anger within men. Like some of the stuff he says is okay, it's on point. Like if you really think deeply about it logically, he makes sense. And there's just some of the stuff he says is like, guy. Then he's a little bit arrogant and pompous at the same time. So it's a little bit weird. I found him on TikTok and whatnot. But in essence, because I was thinking about it, like a podcast for people to, because I was thinking about it, like for us, like the both of us, we are going through the most frustrating times, especially as a guy, especially as a male, especially as a, and like those are the kind of things I'd like to talk about, you know, you know, what's the purpose of having a phone and wasting money on buying a flagship phone just for the sake of social beings, just for the sake of society, and when you're not even going to utilize more than half of those features, kind of thing. Spending money as a young adult on things that are absolutely unnecessary, you know, like just because you can buy it doesn't mean you can afford it, kind of thing. Why can't we just save up? Why don't we just use the bank to actually make money by investing it, rather than using the bank to buy something and paying them even more? You know, like if I wanted a car, I'd rather save up for a car, and I'd rather save up, if the car I want costs a mil, I'd rather save up 3 mil, you know? So now I buy the car cash, I buy it at the value it's worth, and I'd pay 3 million later for 5 years of having a car because you just want the fucking car. I'd rather put a mil, buy the car cash as is, put another mil into a savings account for that car, so if shit goes down south, you have money to repair that car. You put it in an investment account that you are allowed to withdraw, but also like gains interest, and then that other more you can distribute it into other investments to compensate. Simple. And it's like, why not rather do that? Why not rather live like that? You know, it's like, rather buy something you can afford 3 times over than buy something you can afford once, and when it breaks you're like, shit. It's like with the flagship phone, it's like a flagship phone can be considered as a bad debt and a good debt, depending on how you utilize it. You can buy a flagship phone, because you utilize its features for what you're trying to do. Let's say if you and I were our businesses actually boomed, we would need a flagship phone, a strong phone to handle the amount of shit, because it's like, we do the website creations, we do the graphic design, there's social media marketing and so forth. And plus, especially if both of us are always on the road, you're going to require a strong phone with good battery, good features, great camera, since we like photography and editing and all that kind of shit. So you want something strong for that situation, so that at least you can get the job done on the move wherever you are. But now you're a student who only spends his weekends going out and drinking, and you don't do anything with it, but you just have this extra. You never take pictures, and even if you do take pictures, those things look like they came out of a fucking E250 anyways. So exactly. So it's like, why buy a phone that you're not going to use? It's like they didn't become bad debt. It's like you're buying a phone unnecessarily just because you want to fit in, but then again, it's like you're trying to fit into a certain crowd, but then the same crowd is just going to leave you. Like our own life before, I used to always feel like shit, because it was like, you know, fucking BMW, like fucking RS, like I also want a fast car, you know, I want something great, but it's like, okay, what's the point and purpose of that? Like, what you're gonna do with that? You know, I'm gonna buy a car that's fast, sure, but if I bought that car that was fast now, and I'm now dealing with my situation, I would have been fucked, because compared to my car cost to repair, I'm like a third in comparison to what it pays. And that's the other factor, because it's like people have this thing of trying to step up in society, because it's like the kind of people you interact and socialize with. Because I also want to like talk about, like, you know, friends. You think just because you talk to somebody, now you guys are friends, and it's like, no, that's not the case. Friendship isn't about the good times and the memories of drinking and all that kind of stuff. It's also about the bad times, you know, the person that hears you when you're quiet, the person that speaks to you when you're lonely, the person that checks up on you when you don't speak to them for a couple of days, you know, kind of thing. That person where it's like the person that guides you, the person that shows you, the person that actually makes you want to be a better person. that doesn't make you spend time drinking. If you yourself are trying to transition, like if you yourself are tired of the way you used to go out drinking and whatnot, but your friends aren't, you know, you don't have to settle for that life anymore. That it's okay to actually move forward. It's okay to actually move on. Because it's like, and I was speaking to, right, and she was like, because on Friday night she was depressed and all that kind of stuff. She looked very out of it, and I was like, oh, what's up? And she's like, no, can we just go outside for a smoke and we can talk there? And I was like, oh, okay, sweet, let's go. So we went outside, went with her for a smoke, asked her like, what's up, what's kicking? And she's like, nah, she's just feeling a little bit shit because like her best friend, she works at, it's like her best friend, she's been friends with this chick for years, like since they were like kids, like toddlers and all that kind of stuff. But ever since she got a boyfriend, she doesn't spend as much time with, she has a boyfriend, but boyfriend stays in. So every single time he comes over, which is like once a month kind of thing, she will spend all the time that she has with him. And when she's not with him, she will try and spend time with, doesn't want to spend time, like plans and doesn't include her in them. Like Bag on the Berg or whatever it is was happening this past weekend.